Man, it was a busy Friday night, and the crazier part is like it's only going to get better as we go today. I think I feel like we
Yeah.
are in for one hell of a Saturday in the college football world. Welcome in. This is Armchair Analysis live, Saturday morning, Week 5 preview show. We do these every week. It's not just a Week 5 preview show. We're not just here for a special occasion today. We're here every week on Saturday mornings, and
Yeah.
usually a little earlier, but I like the snooze button this morning. So you,
Hey, I
what do you
don't
what do
I
you want
don't
from me?
fault
Okay.
I don't fault you there, man.
I mean,
It took
shit.
every being of myself to want to get up this early at least. Now, I'm not saying snooze all the way to noon because we got a lot to talk about here.
I'll tell you, if there was a day I've considered snooze through noon, it was today, man. I am exhausted. Um, but we've got a fun show today, I think, and it's I'm excited for it. Um, I don't want to spend too much time fucking around this morning. Sorry, I'm gonna hurt the algorithm early. Um, but I really don't. We have so many fun matchups today, and we had some last night that delivered in a way that we couldn't have even imagined would have happened. And I think that's where I want to start is with Friday night. Now let's start with Thursday real quick. East Carolina dominated Army, just controlled that game start to finish. And then up 21-6, they said, "Fuck America, we're fake field goal," and scored a touchdown to win this thing 28-6. It was incredible. It was one of the most fun, one of the best things I've ever seen, especially because it's against Army. Who cares? Um,
You might have a little bit of a slant on that one, but
yeah, no,
it's I mean, here's the thing. Army did lose a lot. Army lost, I believe, a couple of their coordinators from a year ago as well, and so
I don't think so.
I think that's
They lost their O line coach, who's currently the coach at Central Michigan. But
yeah.
they just lost a lot of their production from
Yeah.
last year. They were still expected to be a pretty good team. I still think they're an
Yeah.
okay team. I just think that if I'm being completely honest,
They
I really think this East Carolina team is that good.
I do too. I think that is a big part of it. I also think that Army has really, not done themselves any favors. I mean, I think their only win is a road game at Kansas State, which before the season, there's no chance in hell that anybody is thinking that Army, if they only have one win at this point, it's going to be because they went on the road and beat Kansas State a couple weeks ago. You expected that to be a more competitive type of game, but I'm trying to see because the real one that kind of will probably put a bug in their craw, if you will, was the Tarleton game. They probably should have won that one as well. But
Yeah.
North Texas, a really good team in the conversation still for the group of five playoff representative. East Carolina is a really solid team in that respect as well. And then they
And here
played
I am thinking
Kansas
that
State
Tarleton might be a national championship contender at the FCS
in
level.
the FCS, right? I
I
haven't kept up
I
with them
mean
since that win over Army, but yeah, they've rolled their next three right after that.
I mean
So
they absolutely put Portland State out to pasture week 0,
yeah,
beat Army, and then they have rolled since. Like you just
yeah,
said. I mean, is there something there that maybe we just don't know? I don't think that we don't know, especially at this point. I think that team might be legit championship potential. They've got some really good running
yeah,
backs that we are going to see at the next level. Trey Page, if I'm not mistaken, is their lead back, and
yeah, yeah.
he's got
And then
some he's got some time left. He's going to be finding his way up to the next level. I know that for a fact.
yeah, Victor Gabales has been pretty efficient the last couple of games. Threw five touchdown passes in a win a couple weeks ago, and then he had, I believe, three touchdown passes at least in their win last week over Chattanooga.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's got 12 touchdowns on the year.
I don't know that I'd be throwing uh Tarleton Natty out there right now
I
if I wasn't this
I was
tired. But But I mean, they
Hey,
really are like I think they are that good, and I would not be
I want to see
surprised.
the odds
Well,
on that.
you can find those yourself. You can, but anyways, East Carolina big win on Thursday night. Love the fake field goal. Go Navy. If it's
You got, I mean, Tarleton's third in the country behind North and South Dakota State. So they're not necessarily, you know,
not bad
out
company,
of it or anything like
not
that.
bad
Yeah,
company to be
that's
around.
pretty good. They're
Yeah,
just ahead of Montana and Illinois State.
that's good.
Those are the top five.
That's
Yeah,
damn good
really good
company.
company. Mm-hmm.
Last night, man, we had. I mean, look, I know it ain't Pac-12 anymore. Well, except for one of these was, but I Pac-12 after dark on Friday night. That that still
That's the
delivered last
vibe.
night. Is
Yeah.
what I felt last night. Um, 2 out of 3 games go to overtime, and the other one comes down to a last-second field goal. We couldn't have asked for better last night, and what we got, and it was a blast to watch. We'll start with the one that probably means the least to everybody, even though it shouldn't. I'm telling you right now, I don't care how I don't care if Oregon State's 0-5. Going into Corvallis and making a 14-plus point comeback, scoring 17 points, the final 17 points of the game, and winning this thing in OT. That's
It's a
some,
solid win for Houston.
dare I call it, Fritz magic. I mean, seriously, what a game
Right.
to close out the night. And when I say close out the night, it was actually like 2 in the morning while I'm sitting there in my truck watching this thing. I'm like, oh damn, all right. Um, I loved it. I loved it. The heart of this team is something that's not going to be matched by many. And look, I know Oregon State's 0-5, like I said, but it doesn't make it any easier to go to Corvallis and win. And to be fair, Oregon State screwed themselves out of a lot of things this year, including this game, if we're being honest. And when I say screw themselves out of, you don't get away with 2 blocked field goals in this game. And not only that, I mean, in both halves, you have 2 blocked field goals. You put yourself in position to kick one at the end. And I mean, there wasn't a single guy blocked. 3 or 4 Cougars come through the line, blocked that field goal at the end of the game. I thought they were going to have a chance to return it. It just bounced way too high. Um, but Houston wins 27-24 in overtime. And I'm going to tell you, if that's the kind of resilience we're watching from this team, which I think it is, this is, again, we've come to expect a lot of this out of Willie Fritz and his teams. This Houston team may not be a contender in the Big 12. I'm not saying that by any means. I think they got a few steps to go. I've said that from the beginning. But I'm definitely standing behind the fact that I think this team is certainly still a sleeper in this conference. I mean, and especially the way things are going. I mean, everybody's beating each other up as we've expected, as we've seen. And it wasn't the only game last night to finish 27-24. As a matter of fact, TCU and Arizona State come down to the wire as well. Field goal to end the game. At the end of regulation for Arizona State would cap it off. What was one time a 17-0 game.
Second win in a row where it came down to
Also, you need to fix your camera because you
goal.
look like a Canadian. No, it's not that. It's
Canadian.
a
Canadian.
All right, there
Let's
you
see.
go.
How's
that works. Yeah.
Better.
Have you seen those jokes?
The like cutting off at the
mouth
chin or whatever.
At the mouth.
That's like a South Park.
Yeah. I didn't know it was a South Park thing. I just keep seeing that everywhere.
I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, pal. I'm not your pal, friend.
But I know you were out last night, doing your own thing, living your own life, living your best life, maybe. But
it was not. It was definitely not. It was not even close. Last night was really the one of those nights that made me consider a social media break for the first time in a long time. Which, hey, if you decide to do that, more power to you. I really probably should. Just for, clearing out and balancing my, my mental headspace. But if I did that, then I would miss out on a lot of good memes. So here I am.
You might. But Yeah, I just
But yeah, this was always going to be a game that I was worried about as a TCU fan, and like you said, it started off so well for the Frogs. They were up 17-0, and then what I was able to see, I got in, and not able to watch all of it, obviously, but I got into it, and I saw our offensive line really struggling to, hold their blocks and try to limit the pass rush from ASU. ASU was able to really dial up the pressure and get into the backfield, making Hoover's night miserable.
Oh, that's
Really
sick, by the way. Sorry,
trying to.
I'm just now like seeing game day for the first time, and I'm really sorry. I feel so bad for interrupting you right there. Um, but they're wearing all white.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah,
it's white
I
out at this.
just
I just
for the
look. I
art,
just
yeah.
looked up, and like this.
Unless they just changed. I don't remember seeing that a
What,
second ago, but you're right.
college game day from the pearly gates, or what? What is this?
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, the way I'm feeling right now. Um, but no. So what I saw of this game was the first 17, the 17 nothing open up, and I was like, all right, damn, let's go. Like this is gonna be one of those games, and really
And then
they
you
were
got
doing everything
busy,
right. They
right?
got well, I
Yeah.
did. But
And that's
they
probably where it
were
changed.
seemingly doing everything right. Josh Hoover just led a magnificent drive down the field to make it 17-0. They converted a 3rd and 20, I think it was, third and 18, something pretty outrageous.
Hmm.
They converted to put themselves in position and go on to score. And I was like, man, what in the this is not what I expected from Arizona State, but at the same time, this is a heck of a start from TCU. And it just when I turned it back on, 17 all, and it felt like the life had kind of been sucked out of this game for TCU. And I obviously momentum's a big deal. It
Yeah.
certainly matters in a game like that when you're in a place like Tempe. Um, but man, it was an interesting spot, I think, to be in last night. I don't think TCU's
The
out of it, by the way. I think this game's going to be okay. Like in the long run, I'm not really concerned.
yeah.
Similarly to the way I feel with Baylor, like I don't think that game last week. I think that we're coming to a game here in about 3 weeks. Yeah, in about 3 weeks from now. That is going to
Hmm.
mean, I think, a lot to the Big 12 race. It's going to eliminate a team, is what it's going to
Yeah.
do. But it is going to be, I think, a great game. I'm excited for TCU Baylor. I think that only adds to the stakes that game is going to have. But man,
I,
impressive from Arizona State. Truly, the
yeah.
resilience last night from them as well to bring themselves back into that game. They did it again. They did it last week too in Waco.
Yeah.
They're fighting, but at some point, I mean, we think that's going to bite them, right? I mean, at some point, you're going to
Yeah.
have to get the start and roll at some
Yeah.
point this year.
Yeah.
Um,
And give them credit, like you said. I mean, and they, they were resilient. They didn't, lay down and die when they were down 17. The one gripe that I have, and again, I didn't watch the whole game, so I can't speak for anything. I've seen a lot of a lot of places that have been saying the officiating was dog shit, basically, which I can buy based on what I watched. I know that the on the game tying drive that Arizona State had that tied it up at 24, it looked like TCU had a fourth down stop, and then literally there was at least almost 5 to 10 seconds before a penalty flag came out. It was that late. It was egregiously late. Like, yes, it might have been the right call. I don't know if ref was fumbling around in his shorts trying to find his penalty flag or something, and as a result it delayed that. But that's outrageously bad. You cannot wait that long to throw a penalty flag on that kind of play, because it seemingly flipped all the momentum around, whether it
yeah,
was the right call or not. um, it's you got to be better. But that wasn't the only one. There was after Hoover fumbled the ball that put Arizona State in business to what would end up being their go-ahead field goal that ultimately won it. It looked like it was a a call that should have been against ASU, an offensive face mask, and they called, I believe, hands to the face or something on the defense, and it just the ticky tackness. It felt like the officiating was a little bit more one sided than you would have liked because that was a close game. But I'll also say this: I saw before even that came into factor, ASU had plenty of chances to break it open. They had more self inflicted mistakes. ASU ends up getting the victory and probably should have won by more than they did. They nearly, shot themselves in the foot enough that caused them to lose this game. They were able to get it done at the end, though.
Yeah. And then the story of the night, I guess. Virginia, Florida State, double overtime. Who's take them down? That's a big program win for Virginia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
The legend of Chandler Morris, former TCU quarterback. Great.
Yeah, but not only is that a big deal. They wear these 1995 throwbacks to where they took down number 2 Florida State, the Florida State team that had won 26 consecutive ACC games to start their tenure in the conference, or 24, 26, so somewhere in that number,
something like that.
And I wasn't alive. I get to kind of guess, and they come out and they truly dominated the line of scrimmage on offense. Now, defensively is another story. I don't think either of these teams played all that great on defense, but the line of scrimmage play from Virginia specifically was phenomenal. They were getting a great push at the line, doing a lot of really good things, and just ultimately it came down to Chandler Morris being good, just playing really well. You got to think that Florida State, in a way, it might have been looking ahead. I know they got Miami next, but I'm not going to take that away from Virginia because they didn't, even when Florida State said, yeah, we got to get our head out of our ass, like Virginia still controlled. It was just it was just downright good from Virginia.
It was a good
impressed.
It was a great game.
Impressed. Is Virginia a top 25 team to me? No, they're not.
I mean, they're 4-1. They
Florida
lost
State
the game
was
at NC State. They probably shouldn't have, but Florida State was a little overinflated.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. Florida State for me has been top 20, fringe top 20, really all year. They jumped in after starting like 3-0. They barely got into my top 25 because I thought it was more of an indictment on Alabama than it was on what Florida State is this year. And I think that we saw that last night. That's a little more about what Florida State is, what Alabama is, than was what Florida State was. Still a long way to go. Still competitive, but the ACC standings right now, sitting atop those, Miami and Syracuse.
Just as everybody predicted.
Yeah, and Virginia.
I mean, here's the
by
thing.
the way, because NC State, that's not a conference game this year, so
yeah,
I don't know.
But that was a good back and forth game. And I mean, if you've watched this Virginia team at all this year, like you have, like I have, you figured that they would be able to hang around in this game and they'd be able to win. By the way, it was a 29 game winning streak. I was able to find it while you were talking about the dynamics of how it played out. But if you watch this Virginia team, you knew they were improved. You knew that they were going to be a tough out if they could, basically, control the line of scrimmage at times like they were able to. And you saw that. And one of the big takeaways that I know you'd gotten, and it's fair, I think, to say if you were, looking at it objectively, is that week 1 absolutely would have been a different story if Jam Miller had been in there. I'm not necessarily saying Florida State wouldn't have still won, but he would have been enough of an impact that Alabama could have won that game based on what we saw last night. Virginia was able to do, a lot of what they wanted to do in terms of, moving the ball and getting downfield. Chandler Morris is, no stranger to, a top 10 upset or two in his time. Because I think he's had like 4 or 5. I know he had a couple for us in what felt like an otherwise lost season of 2021. But this was just a solid win, and I mean, how good does that feel for if you're a Virginia fan when you know what happened just a couple years ago. They lost like 2 or 3 games at the end of the season because of the couple of the players being shot, and to go from that point and how low the program felt, where consistently being picked among the bottom dwellers of the ACC, to the point now that you have to feel like Virginia is going to have their best chance to get their second win in like 25 years over Virginia Tech at the end of the year, based on what we've seen from both schools
Yeah.
here this year.
Well, I think the writing's been on the wall. Tony Elliott's done a really solid job so
Yeah.
far at Virginia, and I thought there were people who thought maybe I was a little low on Virginia. Now, granted, they were Virginia fans, so how much was I supposed to take from that? But let's be real here. There were people who thought I was a little low, and certainly this Virginia team has exceeded my expectations early in the year. Chandler Morris has played really well. They found some playmakers in their offense that they can rely on. They're scoring points, which is a big deal, and they just felt like they were a year. Yeah, right now, they feel like they're a year ahead of schedule. I felt like next
Hmm.
year was really when things were going to pick up because of experience on the roster and things like that. This year, I mean, when you have a leader like Chandler Morris, it seems to be, um, it kind of works out. And obviously, these two know each other. Know each other, being Tony Elliott and Chandler Morris.
Yeah.
For those who don't remember, Chad Morris was which is Chandler's dad, was the offensive coordinator at Clemson before Tony Elliott, and Tony Elliott coached
Uh-huh.
under him. So they're not strangers to each other. It'll be interesting to watch the rest of the season for Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm
You
pretty
might
pretty
say the
excited
worst
about it.
thing that Chad did in his coaching career was leave Clemson after, and try to be a head coach somewhere else. They were rolling, and he had the offense clicking on all cylinders. But I mean, he give him credit where credit was due. He started to build up the SMU program into what they've become today. He really kind of helped to lay that foundation. He took the Arkansas gig, and that was a disaster waiting to happen. Then he was in the high school ranks here in Texas, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years ago. I don't even know if he is still coaching at the high school ranks, or if he's back in the as a collegiate assistant or whatnot. But I think that it's a far cry from what he was able to do just a decade ago. But looking at the Virginia schedule, Tyler, they're 4-1 right now. They get Louisville on the road next week, which even if they lose, that's not necessarily the end of the world. But then the rest of the schedule, it seemingly plays out very well for them. You've got Washington State at home. You're at North Carolina. That feels like a very winnable game. Obviously, a rivalry game, but still. You're at Cal. That could be a little treacherous because you're having to go across the country. You get Wake Forest at home. That feels like a winnable game. You're at Duke, which is not a gimme, but it's certainly not going to be a emphatic loss, I don't think. And then you host Virginia Tech. This is a team that I can really. I mean, they could get to 9 or 10 wins depending on how the rest of the schedule plays out. If they're able to survive a couple of road tests here and defend their home turf.
Yeah. For your information, Chad Morris was most recently at Texas State up until last year. Currently not on the Texas State roster or coaching staff, and not currently
Mhm.
on a coaching staff as far as I know. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's interesting.
it is. It is. Anyways, let's get out into today. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Let's push through
Let's
that
do
for a
it.
little bit. Try to get this thing rolling. We'll go ahead, as we normally do. We'll go through each conference, kind of talk about things, and pick a few games to really hone in on. Starting with the American, we'll start with the 3:30 game because it's at the top of my screen. CBS Sports Network, Navy and Rice played today, and I gotta be honest, I like Rice plus 13.5. If we're talking anything on this game, I just think that they've played really well. They've done a lot more than I expected them to early in the season. I think Navy's gonna win though. I think they'll win by about 2 scores, but I just think they'll end up getting covered by Rice. Uh,
I think Navy ends up winning and covering, if I'm not mistaken. Navy is, I mean, they've been playing really well here recently, and not to take anything away from Rice, but I just think that Navy is kind of proving that they're in that conversation and they deserve to be up there in the discussion for the Group of Five representative as well in the playoff.
well, yeah, sure. I mean, that part can be true but them still being in them covering, I don't think really makes much of a difference. But I get what you're
No,
saying.
right.
South Alabama and North Texas at noon today. I'm not spending a whole lot of time on that game. That'll be in Denton. The way
Yep.
North Texas played, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you watched them any this year?
yeah, I've seen a good amount. They are the offense
They're
is
pretty
good,
good.
man. I really like what they do
Yeah.
offensively. Uh,
Makers over 1,000 yards in 4 games. I mean, I know that's not really
it's not they're
a
not
whole lot,
crazy
but
anymore. You know what I mean?
right.
Like there's a lot of quarterbacks over 1,000 yards through 4 games, but he's certainly
Yeah. I
they're
think
just
he's
doing a
leading
lot
the
to take care of the
American,
ball.
though.
Yeah, and they're taking care of the ball, and they're putting a lot of points on the board. Like it's just been a fun
Yeah.
team to watch. Tulane and Tulsa. Not spending a whole lot of time on that. I think Tulane's going to
No.
bounce back after last week. Uh, Memphis FAU, part of my take 10. Memphis covering it was 13.5 yesterday. They're now covering 14.5. I still stand by that. Getting back on the take Memphis and the cover every week grind.
Yeah.
Um, all right, Conference USA, 4 p.m. today. We got New Mexico State and New Mexico. I don't know.
New Mexico is a 15.5 point favorite.
Yeah, they're part of my take 10 as well. New Mexico covering. Middle Tennessee State and Kennesaw State. That's a conference game. I don't know. MTSU's been pretty bad. I'll take Kennesaw.
Yeah, this is one of those battle of mids almost.
Liberty and Old Dominion. I'm gonna take ODU at home in this one. Liberty, man, they've got some work to do.
Liberty is falling off hard this year.
Yeah. Jacksonville State and Southern Miss. Gonna take Southern Miss home field advantage on that one. Braylon Braxton has been okay this year. I'm not gonna say he's been good, but he's done some fun stuff early in the year. Really was a solid leader against Mississippi State. I think Southern Miss is going to be a bit of a sleeper team in the Sun Belt.
I'm going to take JSU to pull the upset. I'm really liking what I've seen from them this year. Give me the Gamecocks. Cam Cook will have a couple of rushing touchdowns.
Western Kentucky, Missouri State. I'm gonna take Western Kentucky. Really like what we've seen from Maverick MacGyver so far this year. They're gonna be playing this game on the road and wherever the hell they are in Missouri.
Springfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that where it is?
Yeah.
Honestly,
at
didn't know.
Plaster Stadium, I think.
Okay. But yeah, I'm still taking Western Kentucky. I think they'll control this one.
Yeah, give me the Red Grimaces as well, Western Kentucky.
Louisiana Tech and UTEP. Louisiana Tech's look good, but I'm gonna.
How are they only a 3.5 point favorite?
I'm gonna take UTEP at home in the Sun Bowl to pull the upset today.
I've liked what I've seen from Louisiana Tech. I think they will find a way to get a win. They may not. It may come down to a late field goal, but give me the Bulldogs. Give me Louisiana Tech.
All right. Let's see what we got down here. Nothing that I can't talk about later. So.
Okay.
All right. On to the MAC. Noon on CBS Sports Network. Oh, does the MAC have a CBS Sports thing? Have I missed that? Okay. Cool.
So
Ohio and Bowling Green on CBS Sports Network. Ohio getting 7.5 at home against their rivals. I've really liked what Drew Pine's done at Bowling Green this year. I think this is going to be a closer game than people expect. I'm taking Bowling Green covering Ohio to win.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that Ohio just has a little too much talent. They hung around with Ohio State for a bit. They've beaten West Virginia. It's not an easy place to play in Athens. So give me the Bobcats.
Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan. I'll take Central. Game being in Mount Pleasant, 3.5 point favorites. I think they'll take care of it.
The Chippewas.
Buffalo, Yukon. Yukon's favored in this game, but I'm gonna take Buffalo. I think they bounce back this week after a tough loss.
UConn, I mean, I heard at one point they were a top 40 team in the country. I don't know if that's still true or not, but I think they are going to be able to get a road win. It'll not be easy up there in Buffalo, but I'm going to take the Huskies.
San Diego State, Northern Illinois. This is a future. Oh no,
Pac-12, right?
no, it ain't because no. Well, actually, Northern Illinois is going Mountain West, and San Diego State's going Pac-12. So it's not even a future
Okay.
conference matchup. It's just a matchup.
Right.
Um, this game being played in Illinois. I'm taking San
Yeah.
Diego State still. I really like what Jaden Denegal's done this year. I think he's been a really solid leader that they didn't know they particularly needed. And coming off of a big win last week, I think they might sleepwalk a little bit through the first part of this game, but they'll get taken care of. I think San Diego State wins on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Aztecs as well to get the road dub over NIU.
Let's see this
Let's see
kick
if he
real
makes
quick.
this kick. Oh,
Drilled it.
he
He
drilled
drilled
that sucker. Oh, he drilled it. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
300 grand. Wow, what a hell of a kick.
Oh, sick.
That was probably good from 40.
I think that might have touched good from 50, man. You see how much I think cleared it by?
Holy cow, man.
I think that's a.
Maybe Franklin needs to bring him on as a walk-on.
I'll think he needs to bring him on as a fucking Oregon State, man.
Sticker.
They need they need some help, dude. Both their kickers shit the bed last night.
The thing about it is that even if he is their kicker, if offensive line is still not able to prevent it from getting blocked, it wouldn't matter who's back there. Oh,
That's
man.
awesome, man. He loves seeing that shit happen, man. I love it. This is the best, one of the best things Game Day's ever done, and I know that now they are certainly. This isn't just Pat throwing his money out there, right? This is big money corporate sponsors throwing their names in the hat to make this work. It's pretty cool. Man, we got a kick-ass slate today. It just hits me. You know what I mean? Like we've got a fun day of football today.
If you don't have your quad box like all day long, you're going to miss out on some craziness. Yeah. I mean, just like we were talking about earlier with how last night went down. Why would you want to even take the chance of missing something?
Yeah. All right. Carrying forward now that that's over. Toledo minus 20.5 against Akron. Love Toledo. Love the cover here. They lost last week to Western Michigan. There's a bounce back factor coming in here. Jason Candle does not like to lose, especially not to his inferior MAC foes. I think Toledo is going to go off today. I'm taking them to win and cover. That's part of my take 10 as well.
Yeah, I was about to say 20.5 might be too low. Give me the Rockets.
Miami Ohio is getting 21.5 against Lindenwood. And I'm just going to let you know that Lindenwood hung around with App State earlier this year. I'm taking Lindenwood to cover this game. I'll take Miami to win, but dude, don't sleep on this team. These Lions of again Lindenwood. For those who may not be familiar.
I was gonna say, you're getting 21.5, and that might feel a little generous. Miami cannot afford to feel like they've got a guarantee game. They've still got to go out there. I mean, they nearly got last week against UNLV. That should leave a bad taste in their mouth. I hope they come out and just thoroughly handle business, take care of it, and get their first dub.
I just don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be thorough, but I think it's gonna be. They'll come out of there with a win.
Yeah.
Now I heard that Lindenwood was App State's homecoming game earlier this year, so that's kind of crazy.
Is it really?
I don't know. Okay. I don't actually know, but
no, I know the joke you're making. But
all right, Rhode Island and Western Michigan. Don't be surprised if the Rams take care of the old Broncos today. Don't be surprised.
I was about to say. I mean, they're 4-0. I know
it ain't even about their record. I mean, just don't be surprised that they've been known to hang around some FBS opponents before. And
yeah, I was to say Western's only a 6.5-point favorite. That's not even a touchdown at home. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Yep. We'll hold off on that one. So that's a Power 4 team.
Yeah,
but anyway. Mountain West. We'll hold off on that first one there. We've talked about a few of these. Oh, there we go. Taking a trip over to Colorado Springs.
Colorado.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
I almost said Fort Collins. Like that ain't right. That's not Fort Collins. That's Colorado State. But
Yeah.
going over to Colorado Springs, which is where Air Force Academy is, they'll be taking on Hawaii today as 6.5 point favorites, and I don't know. Part of me likes the Warriors today in that one.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on you've seen here the last couple of weeks. Luke Weaver has been the quarterback for Hawaii instead of I can't remember Amadou. Is that who they had in the first couple of games? I think he's been out
Alejado,
with an injury.
Micah Alejado.
Thank you. Yeah, Alejado. I think if if Weaver is able to take care of the Rock, Hawaii definitely has a shot. But it's a long road trip. I think Air Force does get it done. But like you said, don't be surprised if Hawaii is able to hang around.
Washington State and Colorado State down there, and this is at Fort Collins.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Colorado State. I think they can get it done at home against the Cougs.
I think so too. I've really, I mean, there's just really been a little, level missing from this Washington State team this year. The last couple of weeks have not been pretty for them. Both losses back to back with, a really solid North Texas and a really solid Washington team that we'll talk more about. Jackson Potter, I think, has got to play turnover free for Washington State to have a shot today.
App State and Boise State. I'm picking this for earlier this week. Rest in peace, Sean Clark. App State. They're going to pull the upset on the blue turf.
I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking about that. I don't know if I am going to
I don't
full-fledged.
even care. I don't care. I think these guys are going to come out ready to play. I truly believe.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of these guys are still there, and I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of love for Coach Clark, and
Yeah.
there's going to be some inspired football from that Mountaineer team tonight. 7:30 on FS1. It's not a late kick. It's nothing in the way. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. AJ Swan can lead this team with certainty.
Yeah, I think App State absolutely hangs around, but I'm going to take Boise in a close one.
Moving down to the Sun Belt real quick. I already talked about some of these games, but Georgia Southern and James Madison. This is a game that a lot of people thought was going to determine the East. I think it stands that way even currently. I think that maybe JMU, ODU later in the year. But James Madison, 14.5 point favorites. Look out for Georgia Southern in this game. JC French, they can throw the ball around. It wouldn't be beyond them to make that happen. But I'm gonna take JMU to win. I don't really care if they cover or not. I think it'll be around that 14.5, maybe 21 at most.
Yeah, I've got JMU winning as well here in this one.
Arkansas State goes down the road to UL Monroe, and I'm going to take the Warhawks of Monroe, Louisiana. 1.5 point favorites. I think Arkansas State, man, they are not really looking great. The win, the close win in Jonesboro a few weeks ago for Iowa State's not holding up, and I don't think today is going to make it much different. That loss last week to Kansas State really kind of just pushed me away on Arkansas State as a whole.
Yeah, I think they've still got some talent. They can still hang around. I think the big question is going to be what level do we get from Jalen Raynor today? If he's able to, hold on to the football and able to find a couple of touchdowns through the air, maybe maybe getting the ball to Chauncey Cobb, Arkansas State can win this game. Give me the Warhawks to defend home turf just kind of as a coin flip.
Moving on down here, trying to find another one. Oh, Marshall in Louisiana. I'm gonna take the Cajuns here. I know they haven't had the start of the year they've wanted to, but I do not believe they're bad. I still think there's a chance for this team to compete in this conference. I'm gonna take Louisiana to win at home against Marshall.
I mean, a 2-point loss at home to Rice, a 3-point loss on the road at Eastern Michigan. They're hanging around just because they're 1-3. They're only really, bad losses at Missouri, and that's one that you would not expect them to win. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Louisiana gets it done today. Give me the Cajuns.
All right. Now we're in the Power Four talk. We've got Georgia Tech and Wake Forest, and excited for this one. Really just because I think Georgia Tech's going to cover, and that's what I picked. So it's on my take 10. Georgia Tech minus 13.5. I'm going to stand by that. I'm liking what we've seen so far from them.
Robbie Ashford is not necessarily the guy I think that is going to get it done. I think as long as Georgia Tech handles the football, takes care of business, they're going to be able to cruise in this game today.
Duke and Syracuse. Syracuse playing for a chance to stay atop the conference. 3-1.
Duke as well.
Duke's favored in this game, but
no Angeli.
Yep, no Steve Angeli. But I'm not gonna hold it away from him. I think Syracuse wins at home in the Carrier Dome, RCO Dome, whatever we want to call it anymore.
JMA Wireless
Shut
is
up.
not what they call it.
It's the Carrier Dome.
It is always going to be the Carrier Dome. Long live the Carrier Dome, but just for the purposes of having that one correct there. I don't know, man. It feels like this is the time for Syracuse to play inspired ball and playing the rest of the year for Steve Angeli after he went down in that solid upset win over Clemson last week. I think Duke was always going to be a thorn in the side, regardless of whether Angeli played today or not. Though I think give credit where credit's due. This Duke team is not necessarily going to be world beaters, but I think they are a good team still, and I think they find a way to win by a late field goal. I'm going to take Duke.
Let's not forget that Ricky Collins and hi, what are you doing? Really? You want your TV time? Is that what you're doing?
I was about to say she chilling in the bag, wasn't she?
Well, it's Isla. She found her way
okay.
to the front and center. Ricky Collins and Steve Angeli were in a close battle for a quarterback position. I don't think there's a lack of confidence in who they're putting out on the field today. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying it's going to work out that way, but I just don't think there's a lack of confidence in it.
Absolutely.
Louisville on the road against Pitt today. Louisville comes in 3.5-point favorites. I would like to say I like Pitt here, but Des Reed out for this game. It's going to put a lot more of the weight on Eli Holstein's shoulders. Can he carry that weight is really a question I have. I think Louisville's going to get the job done today. Close game, though.
They've had a couple weeks to get that bad taste out of their mouths after the backyard brawl. I'm really interested to see how they come out today, and if they can get a couple early scores and really kind of get that momentum and get a chokehold on it, then Pitt is absolutely going to win this game even without Reed. But I think that's not going to be the case. I do think that Louisville is going to be able to come out and really see what we get from Isaac Brown today for the Cardinals. I think they find a way to win a close, hostile game at Hines.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next one. Had to get something sorted out here. Cal and Boston College. Cal making the cross country trek, seeing if they can maybe break a little bit of this curse that's been going on recently. I'm gonna be honest. I think they do. I like Cal to win this game here tonight. Today, 3:30.
I want to really, see if Dylan Lonergan can continue to play very well. He's not really the reason that they're 1-2. Their defense choked away the game that they had, the 20-0 lead at Stanford a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Let's also not forget losing 42-40 in East Lansing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a really good game back and forth. It was not his fault again. I think after what we saw from Cal last week, it makes me very, very hesitant to trust them. I think they're pretty still solid. It's a long trip out there, flying from Berkeley all the way across the country to Chestnut Hill. I think BC finds a way to get it done in a close game. Cal will hang around, but just got to see how they start early. That's really going to be the key, is how they start this game very early on, and if they get themselves in too big of a hole to climb out of.
Yeah. Virginia Tech and NC State. This one being played in Raleigh. I think NC State's going to move to 4-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not really been impressed with NC State, but again, Virginia Tech is. I mean, they're something. I can't think of anything nice to say, so I'm not gonna say anything at all. I think VT can hang around and play some inspired football. I think they can play more up to the talents than they were playing to start the season. But I don't know. I'm gonna take NC State in a close one, but I would not be a bit surprised if VT finds a way to get this one.
Yep, partly ticked in this week. On the under in this game, under 57.5.
That's fair. I like that.
San Jose State on the road against Stanford. I'm gonna take Stanford to win, but I think it'll be a close game.
Stanford only a 3.5-point favorite at home. I mean, that would tell you basically a point, maybe half a point on a neutral field. This is going to be a very close game. Give me San Jose State. I don't know why, but something tells me that the Spartans get it done tonight.
Moving on to the Big 12 at noon, TNT makes their debut. At least as the Big 12 team, the Big 12 broadcast. Cincinnati at Kansas. I watch out for this game. This could be a fun one. I'm excited to see what happens here. Cincinnati's defense, I think, is what's going to keep them in this game. I think they're still trying to figure a few things out offensively. But I think, again, their defense keeps them in this game. I can see a very similar outcome to the Nebraska game earlier this year. Maybe a 24-21, 20-17 type of game. Two teams just hold each other in check the whole way through.
I think Kansas by a touchdown is what I'm going to go with.
All right. UCF and Kansas State. Kansas State's 5.5-point favorites at home. I want to take them to win because I don't think they're going to just completely shit down their leg the whole year, but I don't know that I'm ready to do that yet. And UCF, the offense looks good. I think that Scott Frost continues his UCF winning streak today on the road in Manhattan.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because bettors are not, buying the thorough beatdown that UCF delivered to Belichick in North Carolina last week, or if it's just one of those things that they're, even despite that, the Kansas State talent is just better, and bettors are still, buying in that this is a team that should be playing better than they are. I've been back and forth on this one all week. I think UCF can get this one done, but it feels like it's going to be an ugly game, and I don't know. Something is telling me Kansas State finds a way in an ugly game at home. It's not. I don't think that this is going to be a Kansas State cover outside of maybe a late touchdown in a tie game, which is one of those better beware type of deals. But I'll take the Wildcats.
All right. We'll just make this very simple. Baylor, Oklahoma State, cover 21.5 or no cover?
I say no cover. In fact, here's the thing. This feels all kinds of weird to me. I think Oklahoma State plays a resilient game. I don't think they've got enough to pull the upset, but I think they hang around a bit more and play some inspired football more so than we've seen today. I think Baylor finds a way to get the victory, but I don't think that it's going to be a total loss for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'll say this in one word. Cover. Baylor gets 21.5. Utah, West Virginia. It's going to be a fun game today. Can West Virginia make similar or create similar problems for the Utah offense that we saw Texas Tech do last week? The West Virginia defense has certainly been far from the problem this year. It's seemingly fallen on the offense, who's going to be without Nico Marchiol today. And rumors have it for a little longer than that, or a lot longer, depending on how you look at it. I think that Utah's going to win this game, but I think West Virginia's going to stick around. I don't really see a blowout happening in Morgantown. I just don't see that one.
I don't either. Devin Dampier, it sounded like was held out of practice earlier this week, or kind of a limited participant. He's been struggling with an injury the past couple weeks. That definitely affected him in last week's game against Texas Tech, and you saw that he was just not 100%. I think if West Virginia can get pressure like they were able to do a couple weeks ago at home in the backyard brawl, they can absolutely give him fits and hang around in this game. I think Utah finds a way to win it close late, but I would not be a bit surprised if West Virginia is in a position late to go down the field and win this game with on the back of I think it's Jalen Henderson, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
That first name might be
I'm
off, but
expecting it to be Henderson. I'm not putting out of the question that we see a little bit of Scotty Fox today, a little more of Scotty
okay,
Fox than usual.
yeah. Hopefully he'll find more of his teammates instead of the other team today.
Yeah. Arizona, Iowa State. A sneaky battle of undefeateds right here, going on in Ames. I think Iowa State's going to be able to take control, win this game. Arizona, not quite as tested so far. Iowa State has had a little bit more to go off of. I think Iowa State wins. They'll move to 5-0.
I'm starting to feel like ISU needs to be faded. I think Arizona finds a way to get this one done, even on the road.
I don't think you do that at Jack Trice at night.
No, it's true, but it's also not October just yet, and I think
I don't think it matters. You don't go against Iowa State at Jack Trice at night. Plain and simple. But you can, I guess. That's your money you're throwing away.
Well, thankfully it's not money that I'm throwing away. I'm just trying to talk this one out. You're talking right now of a 1.5 point separation between these teams on a neutral field. Iowa State's not even a full touchdown favorite at home. I think this is going to be a very close game. I think the key here is what do we get from Ismail Mahadi for Arizona, and can we see a clean effort from Noah Fafita and this Arizona squad? I think we can. I think they can find a way to get it done on the road. I don't know. I'm just telling you right now. It may not be today. Iowa State can win this game, but I'm really starting to worry about them. You that kind of saw some of the kinks in the armor with the last couple of games with the Arkansas State road trip, and I mean I'm not taking anything away from the Iowa win in a rivalry game. I just am telling you there's things that I'm worried about, and it may not be tonight. It may be here in the next couple of games, but Cyclones I think are going to start to fade just a little bit. I don't think they're quite as good as they were a year ago.
I think we're taking too much
Iowa
from the
State
Vegas
by a
numbers.
field goal.
I think we're taking too much from these Vegas numbers. BYU, Colorado, -6.5. I gotta wonder how long BYU hangs on, right, and continues to do what they're doing with Bear Bachmeier. At some point, we're gonna see a young quarterback make mistakes, right? But maybe he's the anomaly. I mean, it's the first quarterback I can remember wearing 47, so maybe there is a little bit of difference to be had here. I don't know. I'm gonna take BYU to win. I don't think tonight's the night that's gonna happen, but don't be surprised at the same time. Colorado has played a little bit pesky of defense versus what their offense has put together. Could be interesting, Boulder at night, but I'm going to take BYU. I still think they'll win the game.
I'm circling that Arizona game in a couple weeks for the Bear Bachmeier debacle. I think they get past Colorado tonight. I think they get past West Virginia next week. That puts them in probably mid-teens. Going into Arizona, second week, third weekend of October. I can't remember what day that is. I think that's the 10th. That's the 11th actually, but. That's what I'm looking at. I think the BYU gets it done tonight, but I'm really looking at that Arizona game as a trouble spot for BYU. They'll be 5-0, I think, coming in.
All right, moving on to Big Ten football today. Illinois gets a chance to bounce back against USC. USC walks into Champaign as 6.5 point favorites. Over under sits at 61.5. I'm loving the under in this game. I don't know why people keep pushing this over. 60 points between these two teams. Two teams that have some improved defenses. I don't think USC is paying them 60 this week.
I was to say they think USC is going to do it all on their own based on what we saw from Indiana last week, but I don't necessarily buy that myself.
Yeah, I got USC winning. I could see this thing coming down to maybe a 31-24 at most, but I honestly I'm seeing more like low 20s. I could see this game being just a low scoring kind of a slugfest. And USC's built themselves to try to win these games. Don't be
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah, this
Bad
is, I
dog.
mean, as much as we were talking about Jordan Mailata or Jane Mailata, I should say, and we should be in the Heisman conversation. Another name that probably hadn't been mentioned nearly as much. It's not, Heisman stats or anything like that, but Wayman Jordan and what they've been able to do with, the trenches and how they built those up on both sides of the ball to go in and to compete with, Bielema and this Illinois squad. I think USC does find a way to win a close, tight game, but certainly not a 60-point burger or anything like that. I'm right there with you in thinking that the under is going to hit.
Yep.
Give me USC to move to 5-0.
Rutgers on the road against Minnesota today. Minnesota not getting a touchdown at home. It don't matter. I think Minnesota wins. I'm pretty fairly confident that they'll take care of business at home.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really. I don't buy into Rutgers or Cali McManus. I'm going to take the Golden Gophers.
Uh, Ohio State 8.5 point favorites going out to Seattle today, which is interesting. Either Vegas knows something or they're really banking for a lot of people to hit that uh, Husky money line. Um, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be one of them. Damon Williams announces his presence, not only for hey Washington's here. Damon Williams to New York. That might be some of the talk after today. Taking the Huskies to get this thing done. 31-24 out there in Seattle.
The Huskies may conclude the day with the nation's longest home winning streak if they can handle business and get some help. The two longest active home winning streaks are on the line here in this evening's contest. Man, I mean, this is going to be a hell of a test for Ohio State. Washington, I really do not know why Washington's not in the top 25. I know that they're one of those teams that they love not having any attention on them. So I think that is one of those things that is better for them that
What? What?
oh my goodness.
Something funny?
Yeah.
What?
Just having to yell at the damn dog again.
Because she won't fucking listen.
I know.
It's
I know.
insane.
I think Ohio State's definitely going to be challenged. Washington is a lot better than I think a lot of the country realizes. There's a reason why this spread is where it is. I think Ohio State finds a way to win a close road game, but this is definitely not going to be easy. They're going to be pushed to the wire.
Yeah. I forgot. I wondered why you were laughing. You could hear that the whole time because we're on Discord. We're not
Yeah.
on a we're not in like a
Yeah.
StreamYard or something like that. Fucking damn
Yeah.
it. Whatever. Sorry. Didn't mean to throw you off.
No, it's okay. I didn't know what was happening. I could just hear
She
what
won't
was going
fucking
on.
get
I
over here
couldn't
and just
see
lay
if it was-
down. She's the only dog I've ever seen so restless. She can't just sit there and stay still unless somebody's petting her. All right. On the Kinnick Stadium, Indiana's going to come into town. And do you think there's a letdown spot here? I mean, coming off of an ass whooping that they handed. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I mean, do you think that there's a chance that they may just struggle a little bit through this game, but still win? I mean, I think there'll be 5-0 after this one. Let's be very clear. But I could see a world where they only get out of here, and again, Kinnick's tough anyways, where they walk out of here with, I don't know, a 21-13 win. It's just close enough, but
there's absolutely a chance, and the reason being is that they are going into a bye next week before Oregon. I mean, it's easy enough to think that they're in a position for a letdown spot and start thinking ahead to what could be a trip out there and a top 10 showdown in Autzen here in a couple weeks. Um, Here's the thing: if Indiana does what they can do, like if they control what they can control, then and handle, take care of business, not turn the ball over, I think they'll find a way to win this game. But yeah, I think Iowa's defense can keep them relatively held in check. I don't think they're going to approach 40 points today. Um, I think Iowa hangs around, but I do have Indiana pulling this one out.
UCLA on the road against Northwestern, an interesting spot to be in. This is UCLA's first game post Deshaun Foster. Now it's not going to be too bad for them. They'll be in an interesting spot, but I'm going to say Preston Stone puts these interception problems behind him. I think Northwestern gets the win at home.
This is my upset special of the week. I think UCLA finds a way to get their first win of the
Upset
year.
special. This is two of the worst teams in the Power Four, and you're going to call it an upset? I don't care who's favored in this game, and I don't care how much they're favored by. You're going to call this an upset?
I don't know. I was really struggling to find an upset. That's why I picked this one. I think UCLA finds a way to get it done. I think Nico will have one of his better performances at UCLA today.
Wouldn't be hard.
Before he hits the portal and goes somewhere else, but
yeah, wouldn't be hard. Oregon and Penn State. Let's leave that alone. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, I was about to say that one we could probably come back to.
We only got the SEC to go through, and there's only a couple.
There's
only a couple games that really matter there, Anyways, for real. Noon ABC. Notre Dame goes on the road to face Arkansas. That's an interesting game, and I'm telling you right now, that's. I didn't touch the line on the over/under, but it feels like an over to me. 63.5. Two teams have scored a lot of points so far this year, and two defenses have had their moments of struggle. Wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't even be, to further on that, wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas gets the win today. I wouldn't. I think Taylor Green is a special player, and I'm really excited to watch what they do today, how they look, if they can actually pull this thing off. No matter what, this is a game that I think needs to be on your screen.
Oh, it has to be. I mean, it's one of the few games in the early window that are like must watch in my opinion. I think you got this one and Fox with USC Illinois should be top two priority probably. There's a couple others that I'll be probably scrolling back and forth between myself. Here's the thing. I'd feel a lot better if Arkansas hadn't choked away last week against Memphis. Memphis is a really good team. I think Arkansas is in a position that they can win this game for sure. I think there's a lot of overreaction to what happened last week with Arkansas. Notre Dame is a good team. I think that if they can control the clock, control the ground attack, and keep Arkansas's defense on the field while keeping their offense off the field, they'll win this game. But if Arkansas's defense gets a few stops, we're in position to see another potential upset like we saw a year ago with when Tennessee came to town. Obviously, that was a night game, not an early kick. But I'm gonna take Arkansas to win this game.
All right. Moving on. We'll, Utah State, Vandy.
Sorry, Cam.
Yeah,
you get one at least this week.
Everybody does.
Don't be greedy. Everybody gets one.
Anyways, Auburn, Texas A&M. That's gonna be a fun game. I'm really excited. This is a chance for A&M to kind of prove legitimacy again. Another test early. This is a chance for Auburn to say, hey, we're not done. I'm taking A&M because it's in College Station. I think this is going to be a closer game than that spread even indicates. I'm expecting this being late field goal walk-off territory. Just the way it's lining up. Two fun quarterbacks to watch. We'll see if somebody takes care of the ball better. That might be the difference maker.
A&M's playoff chances last year ended on the road in a quadruple overtime loss, if I'm not mistaken, at Auburn and Jordan-Hare. They are definitely a team that hasn't forgotten that, even if that was not necessarily Auburn really going out there and doing much. I mean, obviously Auburn won the game, but that felt like one that got away from A&M. I think they're going to make a statement here, and I think they're going to win today's game.
Yeah. I was watching they brought the barbecue out for the guys before they went into their
Yeah.
picks. And all I can do is read Pat's lips saying that's good meat. I'm like, all right, pause. But okay.
Pause. No.
Yeah. All right. Tennessee, Mississippi State. Something about this game just feels like they're trying to fool us here on this Mississippi State money line. Tennessee and cover big. I mean, I just don't think Mississippi State's going to be able to slow this offense down.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, Tennessee only a 7.5-point favorite. Listen, Mississippi State's improved, but I don't think they're improved enough based on what the improvements we've seen from Tennessee are. I feel like this is one of those kind of fool's gold if you want to put some money on the Bulldogs today. I'm not buying it. I think Mississippi State is a feel good story. I'd like to see them hang around in this game, but I think Tennessee gets it done.
Yeah. UMass and Mizzou. Cool. Thanks for playing.
Ass.
Yeah. Okay. So we got 3 games left to talk about. Let's go ahead and get through them. And I'm gonna go.
Did you take South Carolina, Kentucky?
Fuck. I chose to ignore.
You skipped over
that
it.
was gonna happen because I don't really know how it's gonna go.
I think South Carolina bounces back.
I don't know.
It's not gonna be easy.
I don't rightly know. I am fairly disappointed in the way that the season started. I'm gonna take South Carolina to win. I'm gonna take Kentucky to cover.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
3
go.
games left.
Let's go with. I don't know. I'm not doing the same particular order. There's one that's going to be last because I think is the biggest game of the day. It's 2 top 10 teams, obviously. The other 2, I'm just going to kind of go how I feel. Alabama, Georgia seems a little more straight to the point here than Ole Miss, LSU. So that's where we're going to go first. Alabama walks into this game as 2.5-point dogs. They dominated the first half of this game last year. Let Georgia back in. Ryan Williams heroics, 41-34. We all remember this game last year. There's a level of pissed off to the way that game went last year, I think, in the Georgia locker room. And I think that level of pissed off is going to really translate into a win today. Not only am I taking the win, here's why I'm taking the win. First off, Alabama looks even shittier for losing to Florida State today. No, that's not why. That's not what I'm doing. But the biggest thing here is what we watched Alabama do against Florida State and how we watched their defense play. The thing about this Georgia team that they're going to be able to do, one, Florida State ran the ball well. They ran the ball really well in that game. And not only that, they really took apart on these outside plays, whether it was the jet sweeps with Mekhi Danzy, whether it was just stretch run plays with whoever was in their backfield throughout that game, whether it was Rodell Williams, Gavin Sawchuk, it didn't matter. Well, Georgia, funny enough, a funny story. They have playmakers out wide that can really create this. And Alabama hasn't been able to set the edge really all year. They just have been fortunate enough to not play anybody who can expose it the same way Florida State did until today. And what I mean by that is they have not only Zachariah Branch, who I think is going to be utilized a lot today, especially in these bubble screen, get him in open space kind of situations. Let's not forget how good Colby Young's been early on this year as well. This Georgia offense has some star power, has some firepower. We watched it against Tennessee on the road in Knoxville when they won in overtime. They have a running game this year that they've stuck to, and they were running for over 200 yards a game, which is something they did not do last year, something they weren't even close to doing last year, as a matter of fact. This Georgia team looks rejuvenated. They look ready to go. Nate Frazier is, dare I say, a top 20 running back in college football, a really solid player. I know Alabama gets Jam Miller back. They also get Tim Keenan back this week. Tim Keenan's not going to help set the edge. Not a interior defensive lineman. He's not helping set the edge. As for Jam Miller, that's going to be an extra little bit of help. Might help Alabama score some more. I like the over in this game. 31-27, Georgia gets the job done at home.
I think I said so much earlier this week, but I'll say it again since it wasn't on the record. It was just in a text in our group that we talk college football in. Um, there is a certain boogeyman aspect to this Georgia team in terms of facing Alabama. You look at in the Kirby Smart era, this is a team that's only won one time against Alabama since Kirby took over in 2016. And that was, of course, the national championship in the 2021 season and early 2022. Uh, this is a Georgia team that I think you could argue here over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been going back at least to the start of 2021, that every time they face Bama, they arguably have been the better team. Yet in their games against Alabama, they're 1-3 in those 4 matchups as a favorite in all 4 of them, I believe. That is definitely enough to make you pause and think, I mean, look at 2021 through 2023. Georgia only lost twice through those 3 years, and both of them were to Alabama. Two SEC championship game losses last year, the regular season loss that we all remember from Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I know it's not the same Alabama. It's not Nick Saban. It's not even the same Alabama team that is used to going on the road and winning these huge games that get the crowd hyped. But it's still one of those mental blocks that you worry about. Especially if Georgia starts off this game very slowly. It's one of those things that's going to creep into the minds, not just of the fans, but the players. That doubt again: are we really in this spot again? I think Georgia has the advantage, but man, it feels more and more like Alabama finds a way to pull this upset off. I'm going to take Alabama.
All right. All right, let's roll up to the top here. LSU Ole Miss. Big news: Caden Durham doubtful today. That's a big hit to LSU and their rushing attack, which has been improved this year, but it hasn't been all that great. Caden Durham's led the charge, and losing him, I think, is a big deal. As for Ole Miss, I don't rightly know. I don't rightly know what the quarterback situation is. Is it Trinidad Chambliss? Is it going to be?
It is Trinidad Chambliss that was announced as starter this week.
Seen? So we've seen that somewhere.
I saw that on.
Because the last I saw anything for this game, when I was doing research, I saw that it was up in the air based on.
Thought I saw it was on Reddit. I'll look and make sure if I can find it. But last I'd seen was that Chambliss was the one that had been announced as the starter. Which I mean,
I have yet to see that. What I have seen, the only thing I've seen is that Lane Kiffin wouldn't announce whether or not it was going to be Chambliss or Simmons. That was earlier this week.
Yeah, according to ESPN a couple days ago, a source confirmed Ole Miss to start quarterback Trinidad Chambliss.
Okay, then Ole Miss. And as a matter of fact, the lack of LSU's running game is gonna really determine this one. I think Ole Miss wins, covers. I like 2.5. I like 7.5. I really do like them to kind of control this game at home even. Man, this has potential for it to be a really good game, and I think it still can be. But I think LSU not having the run game is going to really create this pressure upon the LSU offense and the passing game, Garrett Nussmeier, to really make the plays. And I just don't think that Ole Miss is going to respect the run game. Why should they? What has LSU done in the run game?
Right.
It's just I don't know. It's something about this game just feels like it's going to be Ole Miss, and it's probably going to be pretty comfortable.
I was taking Ole Miss before I even knew what the situation was, just because of what I think LSU's going through. Their offense has struggled. Nussmeier is playing through an injury. I think that has affected them more than they've let on. They've been able to find ways to win thanks to their defense, but this is definitely one of the better offenses that we'll see LSU have played so far this year. And as long as Chambliss is able to do what he's done a great job of doing here early on this year, and that's holding on to the football. I'd be a lot more worried if it was Austin Simmons, like you mentioned, because when watching that Kentucky game, that was where really the first signs of being introduced to Chambliss were, and that it looked like he was the better option. And it just was one of those things like, how did he not get the gig from the start? He looks so much better out there. He looks so much more confident, and he's really leading this offense very well. Uh, I thought that Kiffin might have made a mistake, but I think he's wised up and realized what he's got in Trinidad Chambliss. He feels really good with both these guys. Either way, I think LSU more so because they are, I think Nussmeier's not 100%. With Durham not expected to go, that's a big, that's going to be a big thing to try to overcome. And Ole Miss is a good enough team that they can take advantage and capitalize, especially offensively. This is one of those games that always seems like it comes down to a late play made. Give me the Rebels to defend home turf again this year.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk whiteout. Oregon on the road against Penn State tonight, 7:30 on NBC. It is arguably the game of the day, depending on what conference you're for. But or if you're not for a conference, it is the game of the day. Man, I am pumped to watch this thing play out. Penn State has a chance to really win a big game, and that's something that they've been criticized for under the James Franklin era. Oregon has a chance to go on the road and pull off a incredible victory here in a hostile environment, and it would really prove Dante Moore as a legitimate Heisman contender. This game has a lot of ways it can go. I think the one way that we can say certainly is it's going to be a slugfest of a game. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of points scored. I don't think if we do, Oregon's going to win and comfortably. I think we're going to see a fun football game here. I'm taking Penn State to win though. I think whiteout's going to be the difference maker altogether. Give me Penn State close. By a touchdown at most. I don't know. I don't really want to throw a score out there because I don't have a great feel.
In the last decade, Penn State has gone 9-1 in whiteout games. The only loss was a 1-point loss in 2018 to Ohio State. That it was a little controversial in terms of a decision that Franklin made late in that game, going for it. I think in field goal range on a 4th and 1, Ohio State gets the stop and ultimately ends up getting the victory. If I'm remembering that was also 7 years ago. That's the last time that they lost a home whiteout game. The level of competition with this whiteout versus, the last few, going back to, COVID, basically. This is the toughest whiteout game that Penn State has played since that 2018 Ohio State game.
Since the new TV deal, yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to, dilute what, some of these wins mean for Penn State, but this is going to be a whole, another level from what we've seen over the last couple of years. I know that the fans are going to be making an impact, but I think I trust just a little bit more. I think I'm going to put my trust in Dan Lanning a little bit more. I think Oregon finds a way to win this game and silences the raucous Beaver Stadium crowd and wins whiteout, spoils the party for Penn State. They do what they did in the Big Ten championship game. Yet again, they find a way, even with Penn State, I think, being able to run the ball efficiently. I think that their defense is going to give Aller fits, and that's going to be what ends up leading them to the victory. I think Dante Moore does just enough against the Penn State defense to help the Ducks move to 5-0. I'm going to take Oregon.
All right. I just saw a stat. Taylor Green looking to become the first quarterback for Arkansas to throw for 300 plus yards or to have 300 plus yards in 3 straight games since Ryan Mallett back in 2010. One of my favorite quarterbacks.
Wow. Yeah.
One of my favorite college quarterbacks ever. So, love that. Des Reed's out. Leonard Moore's out. Oh, man, that's going to help Arkansas a lot. Leonard Moore, cornerback for Notre Dame, out today. Jacoby Lane, questionable. That's interesting. Gonna really help that under 60.5. And then Scooby Williams, the linebacker, out versus Auburn today for A&M. So we'll see. We got some fun to be had here today.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's go ahead and get out of here today. Right
Let's
about
do
an
it.
hour and a
Have a good
half.
show.
They're about to do picks on a game day. I think it's a good time for me to get upstairs, get some food, and be ready to go. So, thank you all for
Yes,
tuning in.
sir.
Make sure you're here tomorrow. We got another live tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Recap.
A lot of fun to be had, I think. So, thank y'all. By the way, you also notice those curtains in the background are going to be different this time because we got what we had was curtains and blackout like background things, and they weren't the right size. Obviously, they don't fucking match the size. So I went on Amazon and bought blackout curtains. So it's now gonna look correct and not like a fucking idiot put it together. So just so you know, it's gonna look nice after today.
All
So
right.
it'll still be the garnet color though. I made sure of that. So that'll be
I
all
was
right.
gonna say you should probably take him down after Florida State lost last night, but
Ain't for fucking them, you dumb son of a bitch. Won't be that. Man, I'm excited though. It's a fun weekend for me, man. We got this. Sox just clinched playoffs last night. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then
baseball winding down.
tomorrow, Jackson Dart makes his first start. I'm just excited for this
You're gonna be
weekend,
live
man.
for that, aren't you?
Well, some capacity, yeah.
Some capacity, yeah.
But yeah. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, live 10 a.m. as usual, and yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Stay safe, by the way. If you go to a game, just stay safe. You go tailgate your ass off, drink a little bit responsibly, but drink a little bit. Everybody should, and then go home. So, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.